So we have some remarkable footage that gives us kind of our first real glimpse into Trump's war room.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank yous.
It's about 20.
There must be 35.
Traveling from India
That's
to
good.
California with an unshakable dream to be.
When we apply critical thinking to this, what can we learn about communication? Like Tulsi Gabbard sitting there, she proposes an idea.
Your prices at the grocery store.
Or at the pump.
Out there putting veterans out on the street, so
Then bounces to Trump. It's remarkable how much involvement he really has in this. Notice that the final draft is coming from him. It is his voice. This can be felt. This cannot be faked in the long term.
she will take us into World War III and nuclear war.
Will take us into a nuclear World War III. So,
Yes, this is edited, but this is about as close as we're going to ever be able to get to what it's actually like in one of these rooms. A lot of comments on this video were observing that looks like a scene out of Succession.
she's talking about how great San Francisco was before she destroyed it.
What we're seeing here is the art of countering with remarkable speed.
Against their political opponents. Me. Get that out right away.
Have a caravan.
In precise, direct, punchy language. Notice how they just go right to it.
He's not proposing a single policy, not one policy proposal.
Harris's biography won't lower your prices at the grocery store.
Or at the pump.
Out there putting veterans out on the street, so
33,000 homeless veterans.
Country, okay, say.
Susie Wiles is an interesting character. Interesting question. Why did she not give any remarks when she was brought up to the podium during Trump's victory speech? She recognizes that when she speaks, she's opening herself up and she's providing potential ammunition to the other side. This makes her so much more of an effective and dangerous operative. She's now been made the chief of staff, which makes her the first female chief of staff in history.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women.
Count how many women are in this room.
Or at the pump.
out there putting veterans out on the street, so
33,000 homeless veterans.
Country, okay, say.
It's literally the thoughts coming in real time.
Love it. Put it in there. Put it right in with the stuff, right?
With that post, yeah.
I'm trying to imagine Harris's campaign responding in a similar way.
A lot of talk about childhood. We've got to get to the border, inflation, and crime.
The final semantics are put into place by him. It does remind me kind of watching the movie like Darkest Hour about Winston Churchill. It was a great movie. And his process for writing speeches and communication in general, just the imagery struck me, and I actually went in and played with intercutting the footage just to explore that idea.
Things of which she complains. Things of which she complains.
The time is right for many preparations.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man.
It's awfully loud. I can't hear myself think. Read it back.
Traveling from India
That's
to
good.
California.
What is it now?
Your son. Who is it? Oh, Greg. How are you, Greg? Oh, boy, I just did one. I just did one on Fox. Did you see it?
Yes, keep buggering on. No.
The Hersey contradiction.
Because this is winning the game of talk before you can get to the game of action. If you cannot win the game of talk and communications, you will not survive to get to the game of action, which we've seen one entire party. Now it doesn't matter. All their talk doesn't matter. Throughout this entire process, we see constant debate preparation, anticipation of what is going to come next. They even say this. They say this is essentially debate prep.
If those are the points you level in the debate, you'll be very, very effective.
Yes.
Trump even acknowledges, yes, but debates can be tricky.
Well, that's what I thought. That's the way I am. That's the way I thought. But, debates are tricky. You might not be in the right mood.
This is kind of foreshadowing what would occur in that final debate. This footage obviously was filmed prior to that final debate between Trump and Harris. Critiques are going to be, oh, it's just fear-mongering, it's just very shallow responses, but This goes right to that real direct, punchy, rapid fire, not flower. It's the opposite of the flowery. I was born in a little town, and everyone liked their yards, and what could be unburdened by what has been. She's not really saying anything. Juxtapose that with this kind of communication.
I just watched it, very non-specific.
Where it's like, not good. She didn't talk about this. She's not saying anything. We're going to do this.
Mr. President, thank you for joining us. You were truth socialing along this speech. What is your first reaction to it real time tonight?
Well, the biggest reaction is, why didn't she do the things that she's complaining about? There was a lot of complaining. She's raising taxes. She's going to give a tax increase. She didn't talk about any of that. What they're going to do is pick up and move to another country, like the pharmaceutical industry or the immigration. It's very simple. The bill was horrible.
You have to win this game of communication before you can get to the game of action. It's direct, to the point. It's authentic, put in Trump's own final words. And note how he says here, that's how I talk.
Yes.
Well, that's what I thought. That's the way I am. That's the way I talk.
So it's direct, authentic content. This is what caused the other side to lose, was not understanding these lessons about communication. And constantly, I grew up in a middle class. It's like we're trying to get an answer to a question, and there's no substance. So when we're talking about content, you could switch that out with substance. And throughout this entire process, it's all done in preparation for the future.
That's how it'll come at you in the debate. But it'll be someone in a red state enduring that.
We have the exceptions.
Right, that's the right answer.
We even see footage. J.D. Vance come off stage, walk into a tent, and Elon Musk is there, and they start talking. And notice the communication here is just very direct.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on in North Carolina with you guys, because it's so hard to sift through all the bullshit.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
They move into discussion around, which is interesting for me, discussion around the hurricane in North Carolina.
The FAA had a NOTAM, which is that you can't fly, you can't land in the area unless you say which individuals you're going to meet, which doesn't make any sense because you're trying to give people communications.
Yes.
Helicopters are not being allowed to land if they cannot articulate over the radio who specifically they are coming to save. And he makes the great point that we're trying to bring in communications because there are no communications. So how are we going to know the name of the person we are directly trying to save? They have no ability to communicate. This is from this new documentary, 5-part documentary, perhaps the 6 parts, The Art of the Surge, which can be viewed in its entirety on X. We have hours of this kind of footage, and I think this video is one of the most interesting segments in that entire, which is why they released it. People say, oh, he's trying to just connect with uneducated voters, but this is this is just human psychology. It doesn't matter your education level or not. It's being able to communicate rapidly, effectively, directly, in a way which prepares you for the future and whatever else is going to come next.